We are going to strengthen this value chain, and the benefits will go where they are required, at the farmers' pockets. Not our pockets, my fellow directors. We are being watched. Let us just make sure that the benefit is for us together with our farmers, that we are going to make sure that the money goes to their pockets and our pockets as farmers, not as directors. Thank you very much.
As you may be aware, the mandate and responsibility of AFA through the Tea Directorate, and now the successor institution, which is the Tea Board of Kenya, is to facilitate the tea industry in Kenya with a view to ensuring its sustainability and profitability, particularly for the principal stakeholders, the tea farmers. Having been bestowed with the noble responsibility of providing the leadership of the smallholder tea subsector, you are now our key partners in the agenda to reposition the tea industry in Kenya towards growth and prosperity. From the outset, I wish to assure you and the entire industry fraternity of a seamless transition of the newly created institution, responsible for facilitation and promotion of the tea industry from the larger family of Agriculture and Food Authority.
Let me first congratulate you for winning the confidence of the smallholder farmers who have elected you to the boards of your respective tea factory companies. As you assume office, it is important to recognize that you have been bestowed a critical responsibility and that the smallholder farmers have great expectations for you to deliver and steer the companies towards a growth path that will translate into increased earnings from their investments. It is expected that your election to office will mark a paradigm shift for a transparent, accountable, and effective leadership. It is my hope that none of you is going into office with the mentality of it is our time to eat, which indeed has been the mantra of previous leadership. The government, led by His Excellency the President, recognizes and appreciates the strategic role that the tea industry plays in the socio-economic development of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, following an elaborate public participation process, reforms were recommended for the revitalization of the tea industry. Subsequently, the recommendations were taken through the legislative process and passed into law through the Tea Act 2020. It is important to note that some of the provisions in the Act are aimed at facilitating the smallholder tea subsector, particularly geared towards according the most benefit to the tea farmers. It is my hope that you rise to the occasion and embrace the reforms that have been designed to facilitate fair returns to farmers and reposition the tea industry as the pillar of socio-economic development of our country. Contrary to propaganda that has bandied around by the reform detractors, the government has no intention of taking over the tea business or the tea farming. However, it has the mandate and the responsibility to facilitate regulatory framework with a view to ensuring fair play for the benefit of stakeholders in the respective economic platforms, including the tea industry. The regulatory reforms that the government is steering in the tea industry is not unique to our country. Globally, governments institute strong oversight on strategic commodities by instituting requisite regulations and necessary control to safeguard national interests and mitigate against potential risk of exploitative trading behavior. With immediate effect, we request, and we already have discussed with the Waziri, we request security agencies to facilitate enforcement of CR12 registration of the newly elected boards. The enforcement will entail the following. Number one, former directors should keep off the tea factory premises and be prevented from undertaking any activities in the factory or engaging tea farmers in any way as directors. Wasiri tunasema hawa wote sasa, they are the legitimate directors of their tea companies, having gone through the process, and the registrar of companies having issued them with CR12. So there is no reason why some people should continue masquerading around those factories as directors. And you know, the longer it takes, some other bank business could also be taking place in those factories. So, and this is the request that they asked you to help them facilitate proper takeover of those factories as the legitimate elected directors of those companies. The newly elected directors will be given access to all properties of their respective tea factories. Number 3, surrender of the company's seal and other instruments of ownership to the newly appointed company secretaries. 4, availing a register of fixed assets and documents of title. 5, provision of a status report on non-bank accounts, current signatories, and signed forms for change of signatories. 6, provision of financial reports for the last 9 months, indicating both performance and position of the tea factory. 7, provision of an inventory report indicating stocks at the factory on the transits and in all warehouses. And 8, minutes of the last board meeting also to be available. I'm talking about the last board meetings before you took over, so that you can be able to know what exactly happened before you took over the management. All those people who have contributed to bring this journey to where we are right now. Nashukuru hiyo, lakini kama vile tumeeleza, Chairman, we are not there yet. We are not there yet. Actually, the work has just begun, just been elected. And now, once you are facilitated to take over the management, the handwork of restructuring your companies to make sure farmers hand from their sweat begins. Yetu ni kuhakikishia ya kwamba serikali itafanya kazi pamoja nanyi kuhakikisha hii mabadiliko yote imefanyika. Kwa hivyo la muhimu sasa, Chairman, ni kuhakikisha hawa mandirector wamechukua usukani kule nyumbani kwa factory zao. If the forest is what has changed, but the monk remains the same. Don't know whether it's the monk that has changed or the forest, I don't know. Hakuna mabadiliko itakuwa hapo. Tunaelewana? Kwa hivyo lazima pia sisi wakati tunafanya election tuhakikishe tunachagua wale ambao wana dhamira na lengo la kusaidia wakulima.
My assignment here is the most straightforward and the clearest of all. First of all, I congratulate you for your election as chairs and vice chairs in your respective factories. I came here to confirm to you that the government is very serious about this business. I said when we were in a public meeting another day in Nyamira with my colleague, I sometimes people doubt the resolve of government. And if there is anyone who doubts that, listen to me very carefully. These reforms will happen, and we are going to stay on this course until this sector is reformed. No amount of anything is going to get us out of this way. For the last 8.5 years or so I've been in government, I have come across situations like this. When you undertake critical sectoral reforms, sometimes it looks like war. It must be war, to get people out of a life they have been used stealing and living on illegal resources for a long time. It's war. It must be war. The most important thing is to be tenacious and to remain on it. And I came here on behalf of my colleagues in the Ministry of Interior to tell you we're going to stay on this one until it's done. And it's okay. Those of you who are taking us to court, that's fine. We will meet there. We will also go there and explain our position. So I secondly came to assure you that we will not just work with you. We will superintend over this work and ensure that it's done properly. So I want to ask my colleagues who are here from my sector to stand up, the regional commissioners and county commissioners who are here. Tukubaliane hivi hadharani, it will not be clearer than this. My firm instructions are this: you assist all these people to take over in their factories immediately. And you know how we work. We are government and efficient, and we get things done. We don't entertain stories. Throw out whoever needs to be thrown out, get everything done. We should have no problem anywhere. So every county security team should have a meeting, every regional security team should have a meeting, and give us a report inside the next 2 weeks that that exercise is complete. And those people are gone, because they are not officials. The officials are these ones, that they have taken over in their factories and they moved them. Tumekubaliana? Kazi imekwisha. Tuendelee namna hiyo. So to pay a report in another 2 weeks that there's none of these factories where there are issues. People have not taken over, you saying what and so on. It's actually ridiculous. You know, an employee of a factory tells the farmers who bring the tea to that factory that they are foreigners. If they were not bringing the tea there, that good fellow would have no job in the first place. So, you know, that is the language of impunity. You know, where people have used to living in a particular way and so on. We will not accept it. We will do what we have been instructed to do by His Excellency the President. We will not let him down, and we will have this job done. So tumekubaliana in 2 weeks' time, Mr. Minister, I will clean up. We are ready to proceed. I want to assure you, my brother, CS Munya, we're very proud of the work you're doing. We will stay here as instructed by the President on this assignment and ensure that it's done. And we will support all our farmers, because that is the right thing to do, and that is how we are going to succeed as a country. We are working this hard. Surely, why can't we work that hard ourselves and ensure that we protect their wealth, we protect their resources, and move forward? So, as always, CS Munya, I'm available on duty 24/7. And when I'm called to work, my answer is always yes. And there is no task that is difficult as long as the Lord strengthens our hand. And so let's go forth and do a good job for our country, and God bless you.